Hello, captivating recaps here. I will describe an American romance drama film called Cashback today. Ben is the film's protagonist, a 25-year-old man with a baby face who is always sweet and compassionate to others. One would think he is the perfect buddy. However, the situation is exactly the reverse. Ben is not a serial murderer, but he can stop time and do anything he wants. Of course, he uses it to strip ladies and paint, which is his favorite pastime. Ben freezes gorgeous females and produces nude photos of them wherever, including the road, the grocery, and even the cinema. But it wasn't always like this. Ben was a regular person like the rest of us, with a loving girlfriend and a bright future. Following that, the film goes back to 5 weeks earlier, when everything went wrong. Ben is arguing with his girlfriend, Susie, who labels him a loser. He has had enough and ends their relationship, which enrages Susie even more. She begins hurling stuff at him, and everything slows down for Ben now. Susie immediately moves on after the split and seeks consolation in a man. Ben feels distressed when he discovers them together in the campus cafeteria. As a result, he enrolls in painting lessons to divert himself. Ben has been fascinated by portraiture since he was a toddler, and he easily creates stunning paintings that even the instructor admires. Ben specializes in creating lifelike human portraits. However, things get increasingly difficult for him at night. Ben can't seem to get over his breakup because he sees Susie every time he closes his eyes. He ultimately gets insomniac as the days pass. Ben can't sleep for more than an hour now. His ex-girlfriend's memories are slowly turning him into a miserable madman. Overwhelmed with sorrow and pain, Ben calls Susie and begs her to return. He also apologizes for wrecking their relationship and promises never to do it again. Despite Ben's desperation, Susie declines his plea and hangs up the phone. This plunges Ben into an even deeper pit of sorrow. He does his hardest to pass the time over the following several days. Ben enjoys reading, watching movies, and traveling alone to other locations. When night comes, the sleeplessness sets in, making it difficult for him to focus on anything else. As a result, he also begins taking random excursions in the dark. He goes to a local store one night and spots a job posting for a night shift man. Ben believes it's a great way to pass the time while still earning money, so he applies immediately. The next day, he has an interview with the manager, Jenkins, and finally gets the job. Ben is pleased for the first time in a long time, and has a sense that his life is about to change. As Ben adjusts to his new job, he notices how each of his co-workers approaches the art of passing the time differently. Sharon Ponte, the cashier, has the most distinct style. She makes a point of concealing the clock with different items. If she glances at the time, she assumes it will pass slowly. Then there's Barry, the cashier, has the most distinct style. She makes a point of concealing the clock with different items. If she glances at the time, she assumes it will pass slowly. Then there's Barry Brickman, a playful character who is never serious at work. He and his similarly astute pal, Matt Stevens, perpetrate various pranks on female clients, such as sneaking an adult toy inside their luggage. Some consumers are confused when discovering it, but some opt to keep it. Jenkins, their employer, is the only one who doesn't appear to worry about the time. He may go on and on about his accomplishments and wealth. Time goes quickly for him once he begins his egotistical remarks. Ben, however, has the odd manner of spending the time of all the night shift staff. Ben dissociates himself from time and reality through the pains of his profound sorrow. In other words, he utilizes his talents to stop time and, ultimately, his surroundings, allowing him to do anything. Normally, one would flee with money or engage in some explicit behavior. On the other hand, Ben wants to enhance his creative abilities. He selects random clients, softly disrobes them, and starts creating their pictures because he is in awe of the feminine form. Ben has no lustful feelings for them. He only wants to ensure that his love of art never fades. When he's finished, he puts them back on and cracks his fingers, allowing time to begin flowing again. This is now Ben's way of life. It's not anything he can be proud of, but at least he's no longer that unhappy and insane guy. He has gradually but slowly begun to move his attention away from Susie. Ben spends much time at home with his closest buddy, Sean. They've been together since they were children. Sean is the polar opposite of Ben, in that all he wants to do is get into a girl's panties. He has visited every stripper club in the city, it is discovered. Ben meets Sharon, the cashier, in the locker room one night during his night shift. He seems to have feelings for her, but is unable to communicate them. But while they converse, the pleasant cashier bites into a sandwich, startling him. Sharon attempts unsuccessfully to brush away a little bit of pickle that has stuck to her face. When Ben notices her struggle, he steps in and wipes it away for her, resulting in an extremely corny moment between the two. Sharon eventually chooses to go and walks towards the door. Ben wishes to freeze time and dwell in it for a week, but Sharon has already left by the time he comes to. After a time, while he is doing his business, Matt emerges from one of the stalls and announces that he is going to the movies with Sharon. This breaks Ben's heart, and he wonders why he is so unfortunate. He then remembers his school days, when he first fell in love. She was the brightest girl in the class, and everyone admired her. She was in an accident one day and damaged her arm, requiring her to wear a big cast. Every day, her students would write supportive messages on it to cheer her up. Ben also wanted to write something, but he was too frightened to approach her. Unfortunately, his reticence lost him the chance, as the girl removed her cast a few days later. Everyone was relieved to see her fully healed, but when they realized she had grown hair on her arm, they began making fun of her. The girl ultimately begins to weep, and Ben decides to intervene. He leads her to a quiet place and calms her, promising to be there for her no matter what. Soon, the two become close friends and then lovers. One day, the girl approaches Ben unexpectedly and asks if he wants to kiss her. He responds yes without hesitation, and the two plan to meet at their favorite site on the weekend. Ben is overjoyed since he is about to kiss a female for the first time. He loses sleep over the following 3 days, and when the weekend finally arrives, he arrives early. He waits all day, but the girl never arrives, hurting his heart. The next day at school, Ben hears that the girl has moved to another city with her parents. This was the first time he felt powerless and down. In the present, Jenkins collects all his workers and tells them they will participate in a friendly football game with his pals. Ben and the others don't want to play, but they don't have any other options. The grocery squad loses badly throughout the game since it is evident that none of them know how to play. The other side scores goal after goal, bringing the score to 26-0. When Ben has had enough, he stops the clock and goes to the locker room to unwind. Suddenly, a man unfreezes and dashes out. This demonstrates that Ben is not the only one who has developed this skill. After a while, he goes outside and snaps his fingers, enabling time to return to its normal state. Matt kicks the ball so randomly in the intensity of the moment that it hits Jenkins in the face. He is promptly taken to the hospital, and the rest of the crew departs, leaving Ben and Sharon alone. In the next scene, the two go to a neighboring restaurant to get to know one another better. Ben learns that she is unmarried and that Matt is kidding about dating her. She then tells Ben about her dreams, and he does. The next day, a scarred Jenkins proclaims he will throw a party to celebrate his birthday. Sharon invites Ben to accompany her on a date, and the latter gladly accepts. Jenkins later summons the guys to his office, assigning them distinct duties for his birthday preparations. Ben is in charge of bringing a stripper to the party. Although he has never spoken to one, he knows exactly who can assist him. Later, he begs his closest friend, Sean, for assistance, offering to accompany him to the party if they can finish the work. The two then go to a nearby bar, where Sean employs his knowledge to recruit a female for the party. The following morning, Ben receives a phone call from an unknown individual who claims to be an art collector. He owns an art gallery in town and would want to display some of Ben's work there. This pleases the latter since someone has recognized his talent for the first time in his life. But unknown to him, it was a hoax call from Barry and Matt. That night, Ben gets ready for the party and drives Sharon home. When she answers the door, he cheerfully informs her that a well-known organization wants to exhibit his artwork. Sharon enthusiastically congratulates him, and the two quickly depart for the reception. The party is already in full swing when the two arrive. Sean is getting turned down by a female. Matt and Barry are dancing like sociopaths, and Jenkins is the DJ. Then Barry recognizes his ex-girlfriend, Susie, among the guests. She is, in fact, Jenkins' brother's girlfriend. Soon after, the stripper enters and warms up the party. Sean, in particular, strikes up an immediate rapport with her. Meanwhile, Ben goes to the restroom, where he meets Susie. Ben shoves her back, but as he turns around, he discovers Sharon saw the whole episode. Ben attempts to explain that it is not what it seems to be. Still, the night cashier walks away without saying anything. Ben eventually goes to Sharon's apartment and attempts to explain everything, but her rage blinds her. Ben becomes irritated and departs when she begins spewing obscenities. He returns to his world of despair and sleeplessness due to the breakup. He is only looking forward to meeting with the alleged art gallery firm that had contacted him. The day eventually comes in the next scene, and Ben appears with some of his greatest artwork. Ben realizes he's been pranked when the gallery owner, as planned, denies setting an appointment with him. However, just as he is ready to leave, the owner spots some of his drawings of Sharon and requests to see them. Unsurprisingly, he loves them, and Ben is given a night in the gallery to show his art. Sharon gets an official invitation to Ben's art show a few days later. Despite her displeasure with him, she chooses to go to the gallery. When Sharon arrives, she is surprised to realize that each piece of art is about her. Ben, it turns out, sees painting pictures of other ladies and focused only on Sharon. He couldn't look at another lady, since she was the love of his life. In the meanwhile, Sharon and Ben eventually meet. The latter attempts to explain what occurred on the night of the party, but Sharon says he doesn't have to. She has learned how much he loves her by gazing at his drawings. With this, the two move closer and enjoy a passionate kiss in the art gallery room. Ben utilizes his talents to freeze everything in the last scene. However, Sharon may now walk about in the frozen world. The two then go out into the snow, where millions of snowflakes float in the air. Finally, the lovers kiss again, bringing the film to a joyful conclusion. Please subscribe and leave a comment below.